Hi, I'm that female character whose only personality trait is ruin a gay relationship, Leo, and welcome to In Bed with a BL. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most popular gay movies right now, Your Name Engraved Herein, the highest grossing LGBTQ movie in Taiwan. It received the nomination of 5 Golden Horse Awards, which the Golden Horse is kind of like the movie award show in Taiwan that happens yearly. And it was number one in the box office for a really long time in Taiwan. So it's really super cool that a gay movie, an LGBTQ movie, has received so much good accolades and is being so profitable and so well received in the country it was made. Seeing that has made me really happy and also gives me hope that we'll see more stuff like this in the future. I'm going to talk about some of the things that happens in the movie and things I like and things I don't like. So there might be mild spoilers, but I'm going to try to stay away from what might really kill it for you. So don't worry too much. This isn't like a super exciting thriller movie. You kind of understand what's going to happen. So nothing I say should be that shocking. And it says that it's based on a true story. So if you're thinking about a gay love story in the late 80s in a time of confusion and pseudo-repression in Taiwan, it's not going to be like the super happy gay marriage movie that might happen right now in 2020. Taiwanese gay love story set in 1988 Taiwan. The movie starts right after the end of martial law in Taiwan, which is a very long period. It's one of the longest martial law periods ever, except it was recently passed by Syria. But still, a cool thing you get to learn in the background story, which is a really cool part of this movie. The movie follows 2 Taiwanese high school boys, Ahan and Birdie. Ahan is one of those boring, normal high school boys that is trying to get good grades, do the right thing, yada yada yada. Birdie is the exchange student that comes in and changes Ahan's life forever. He is unpredictable, wild, and kind of is the catalyst that sparks Ahan's journey to self-discovery. When those 2 boys meet, Ahan feels something and they instantly get super duper close. The opposites attract, and Birdie allows Ahan to be super duper free. The background of the story, the late 80s Taiwan, with the end of martial law, is a really good, almost like metaphor for what's going on in the story, because it was a very repressed, stressful time, and then it opened up and Taiwan grew to this great, liberal, awesome, loving place that it is now. And that kind of is the situation which happening with Ahan too. Around the same time, he meets Birdie and kind of goes on this self-discovery of becoming less repressed and more open to new things and discovering more about himself. They also go to an all-boys Christian school, or maybe Catholic school. That part I kind of missed. But that also, if you know anything about Christianity, gives you so much more repression all tied up in one. But during this time period, the school actually opens up and starts letting in girls. Then you enter this new female that triggers the main plot problem of the story. Enter Rule Fei, a female character who is very traditional in gay love stories, or not always just a female, but a character that comes into a gay relationship and causes this love triangle problem situation. I noticed in a lot of Taiwanese gay love stories, you have Eternal Summer, you have Blue Gate Crossing, you have Meow Meow, and it also happens in some American movies like Dare. So it's a very common trope, which I kind of hate because you just always have to hate the outsider. But anyways, enter Rule Fei. She comes in, she kind of has a rebellious spirit a little bit. She stands up to a teacher, which was actually kind of exciting, and I thought she was gonna turn into something really exciting, but she didn't. But Birdie has a liking to her, and he starts going closer to her as he goes farther away from Ahan. The character arcs between the 2 main characters are a little frustrating. So Ahan has the traditional character arc, which happens in self-discovery gay movies, where he is repressed and focused on just the normal boy stuff, hanging out with his friends, talking to girls, getting good grades, then going to college and becoming a good man later on in life. but then he meets Birdie and realizes he wants to have fun, enjoy his life, do things like that. And then he opens up towards the end. Spoiler alert, he's gay. Um, Birdie, on the other hand, is a little more frustrating because he starts off super duper wild child, and as the movie goes on, his arc becomes more. They switch places. He becomes more repressed. The movie is kind of shot in the point of view of Ahan, so we don't really get any explanation of why Birdie is doing this. I read somewhere online that he was doing this because he was afraid that Ahan would get sucked into his personal problems. He was trying to push him away so that Ahan wouldn't get hurt into his family life in turmoil. But sadly, this is only a first-person narrative, so we only know what Ahan is going through. And yeah, that's a little interesting because it also gives us understanding on Ahan's motives and his emotional problems with this, because we're reacting to Birdie the same way he would. So that adds to the story, but it made me very frustrated because I thought Birdie was a really interesting character, and he kind of just flatlined. Some of the things I was not too keen on in this movie, or some of the things I found a little tropey, especially in Western media movies, so maybe it's more forgivable in the Taiwanese gay movie medium. There's this really awkward shower love-making sex scene that happens, which I was not too keen on. Online, people seem to really think it was hot and steamy, but it kind of came off more as like awkward and rapey, which seems to be very common in the boy love and like manga live action movies, where the kind of sexual assault aspect is romantic, but it was really uncomfortable to watch, especially in a movie theater with a lot of people. There's also a scene that happens a lot in Western gay movies where one of the characters is trying to fight off their gayness and they run away, and then they end up having sexual advances happen to them from an older man that gets also a little rapey. Wasn't too keen on that. I said it again before, but I really don't like the third party that enters the friendship and ruins everything and makes it really uncomfortable. It's happened once before. There's this French movie called, I always thought it was called Angels of Sex, but apparently it's called The Sex of Angels. And that has a third person come in and cause chaos, but actually ends in a really cool way. I'll probably talk about that later because it's a really good movie. And the main thing that was really creepy was the priest character. So it's an all-boys Taiwanese school, and there is a white priest with like long stringy hair that he's like teaching everything, and he's really close with them. And coming from like a Catholic background and coming from America, that concept of just like a creepy looking older white male priest around lots of young, cute Taiwanese high schoolers and it being a gay movie filled me with lots of uncomfortable cringeness the entire time.
You in danger, girl.
And later we find out an interesting tidbit that was really made me uncomfortable. Nothing rapey, but just there was an affirmation that was like, oh, cool, please, just cut it out. No need, please, bye-bye. One of the coolest parts of this movie, and one of the reasons why I really recommend this for people, is it has a really strong background. This movie is set in a very interesting time in Taiwan, and I also feel like most people don't really know about the happenings in Taiwan. I learned about Taiwan through gay movies. There was this one I watched back when I was in high school called Eternal Summer. I highly recommend it, and I'll definitely talk about that later because it's very important for why I actually wanted to come to Taiwan as an adult. But this movie is set in 1988, so it's at the end of the martial art. Sometimes you might hear it called the White Terror. It is a very intense time for Taiwan. I won't go deep into it because I'm not an expert in Taiwanese history and I don't want to say the wrong things by accident. But I can highly recommend a movie called Detention, which is based off the video game Detention from Red Candle Productions. Interestingly enough, Birdie, the actor, actually is the main lead in that movie too. So highly recommend it. He's a good actor. It's a great movie, and definitely play the video game. You will learn a lot about Taiwanese culture from it. So definitely check that out. There's another interesting scene during the time when Aha and Birdie go to Taipei, and they see a man in a wedding dress calling for gay marriage. He's quickly taken away by authorities and angry people, because at the time it wasn't too keen. That man actually, I learned, is a very important Taiwanese activist for gay rights, Chi Chiawei. He has been trying to get gay marriage since the late 1980s, so he's been doing this for roughly 33 years or more, from at least what I know about. He is super important to gay rights in Taiwan, and seeing him in the movie led me to actually understand who he was, because I'm not from Taiwan, so I thought that was a really cool, inspirational thing to learn about. He has been celebrated in Time's 100 most influential people in the world. He has been fighting for gay rights and a gay activist for the longest time, and doing these peaceful protests throughout Taiwan for the whole time, and things like you see in the movie. So that's just like a small timepiece where you can get a lot of information, and it's cool to see things like that. Another really cool thing about the movie is the OST song, Your Name Engraved Herein by Crowd Lu. The song slaps, and if you are in Taiwan, you're going to hear this song wherever you go. It's a great song, so another reason. And it's part of the movie. So there's a part where Birdie plays the song, which is a weird time skip. But he plays the song to Birdie, and it's really sweet and romantic, and it's a really good song. And there's a bit of French in it, which I'm trying to learn the song in Mandarin, and it took me a long time to realize that one line was French, and I'm really stupid. Another really good thing about this movie is it's really pretty. The shots are really good. Everyone looks good. I personally think the acting is really good. The thing about movies with subtitles is my attention is divided, which makes all acting seem much better, because I cannot focus on everything at once. But I personally thought everything was well acted. I think Birdie Ahan were really good at being emotional, and the shots are really pretty. You get to see a lot of cool old Taiwanese parts, especially when they go to Taipei as children in high school. That was really cool, and it kind of did remind me a lot of Eternal Summer, because a big plot point of that is when they skip school and go to Taipei. So it kind of reminded me of when I was younger and I saw Eternal Summer for the first time, which kind of made me feel nostalgic. You get to see Chris Wu, which is really exciting. He plays a character in History 3 Trapped. I got really excited when I saw on Instagram that he was going to be in this movie. He's in it for roughly like 30 seconds, but it's still like a fun Easter egg of like, hey, cool, Chris Wu. There's also another cool part when they're in Taipei. They sing a song together, His World. The song is by an artist called Tsai Lan-chin. It is a singer who actually died when he was really young, and apparently I saw online that it actually has some importance to what's going on in that scene, so it's another thing I'm not fully aware of, but it's another cool thing I can go and learn about, which I thought was really fun. The cool thing about this movie is, especially as a Westerner, if you enjoy looking into things in movies and learn about what's happening, this has so many small tidbits that you can take and run with and learn all about this world in Taiwan. Another really cool part about this movie, though it wasn't really in the movie, is when I was at Taiwan Pride 2020, one of the only gay prides in the world, which was really cool. I got to see the cast. They were in the Pride parade on a float, and I got to take pictures of some of the actors. Ahan was there, so it was really cool to be really close to them. There's actually been a lot of publicizing for them in Taiwan. There's been a lot of in-person meet and greets, and I've stumbled across it a couple times. I'll try to throw some pictures over there, but it's super cool. A funny thing that I've been seeing a lot is when people advertise or talk about this movie, they show this picture over here that is really pretty behind a stained glass window, and say, oh look, Ahan and Birdie, the lovers of this movie. But it actually isn't Ahan and Birdie, it's Ahan and Eric Lan's character, Xie Xieheng. He is the kind of like one of the victims in the movie. He is a more gay, acting gay looking character, so he is victimized a lot in this movie, and this kind of gives a fear to Ahan for like, oh, if I come out as homosexual, this would be my fate. And this is a really cool scene because he is pretty much going to Ahan and being like, I get fucked up all the time, you're being a bitch, you're gay, stop it.
Pretty beyond.
You are so gay. Let me tell you about you. Hi. You are gay as
You are the gayest piece of shit I've ever met in my life. So gay, so homosexual, so thoroughly queerly gay that you're gay. Did you know?
And so it's a weird, really cool, inspirational scene. It's really beautifully shot, but it's weird that people keep showing it as like the picture of love between the two male characters because it's not them, which is weird. Another cool thing is the actor who played Ahan is in another Taiwanese gay media production. It's a small TV show called Red Balloon, and it focused on a gay love story in high school also that had a tragic end, but they meet again in the future, and it kind of has like a melancholy but happy ending. That one also has a tortured gay youth in the movie, but unlike Your Name Engraved Herein, he has a really cool glow up, which you should definitely check out. The cool thing about Taiwan and movie theaters here is with this movie, there are 4 gay movies in theaters. Growing up, I never thought I'd be in a place where you could see 4 gay movies in a movie theater at the same time. You have My Name Engraved Herein, My Dear Tenant, which is in Geelong, which is super cool, The Craft Legacy, and this is not really a traditional gay movie, but the original had like a super amount of queer coding in it, so I think it counts. And then there is a Japanese movie called The Quartered Mouse Dreams of Cheese. It came out recently, I have not seen it yet, but my friends who have seen the pre-screening say it's really interesting. There was also a 5th anime movie that came out a while back, but it's been in theaters still on and off here, called Wuthering Birds Never Fly. I don't really want to talk about that. Maybe I can talk about that movie in a different video. Seeing that in theaters was very weird. It's a lot more sexual than I was expecting to see in a public theater for such a low age rating, but whatever. But anyways, it's super cool that you can go to these theaters and see all these gay movies, and it's kind of trendy right now, and the quality is so cool, good. So I would give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's super good. There are some parts I was not too keen on, but apparently it was based off a true story, so any of these lagging parts I can chalk up to it being based on something that happened to this person. And it is a time period and a country that I'm not familiar with, so maybe these are things that could happen, so I was not too harsh on those aspects. The reason why it's so high though is it's a beautifully shot movie. The theme song is great, the music, the shots are amazing, and you get to learn a lot. This is really cool for people who don't know about Taiwan. You can see a really interesting time period, and the shots are really nice. If you want to know more about Taiwan during this time period or a little before, I would definitely check out Detention. It is not a gay movie, it's a horror movie, so maybe it's a little scary, but check out that and the game. It's on Switch. It might be on sale right now for Black Friday and Christmas time. It's really good. The Red Candle production made a really cool, interesting game with that. Please watch it. It's going to be on Netflix, I think, after December 3rd, so Merry Christmas to you in all countries. Hopefully there'll be subtitles. Please watch it. If there's a way you can give money to them, I highly suggest it because it is worth it. It's really good.